Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name NURUL binti AHMAD MOKHTAR, and our group topic is Ar-Rahnu construct at Bank Rakyat product. So for the first slide, I will present about introduction of Ar-Rahnu. Okay, in Malaysia, conventional pawnbroking predates Islamic pawnbroking by few centuries. So development in Islamic pawnbroking began only in 1992. That is when the first Islamic pawn shop was established by the Terengganu state government, which we call the name by Muassasah Kerajaan Islam Terengganu MGIT. However, this establishment of MGIT provide an alternative to the pupil to make a choice in order to get speedy cash and at the same time adhere to methods which are considered halal by the Sharia regulation. This Ar-Rahnu only accept gold and jewelry made of gold can be pawned. So loan tenures range from 1 until 6 months. If other than that, borrower have a choice either to repay either by lump sum or by monthly installments. So if the borrowers are still unable to repay the loan, the pawn item will be auctioned off and any surplus less outstanding amount and charge will be returned to the borrower. So this Ar-Rahnu is free from any riba and horror element. Moreover, the Malaysia Islamic Economic Development Foundation was the first to suggest the introduction of Ar-Rahnu concept. The first Islamic pawnbroking institution was set up by Majlis Agama Islam by the Kelantan state government in January 1992. In March 1992, Kedai Ar-Rahnu, a subsidiary of Permodalan Kelantan Berhad, commenced further operation of such activity. Consequently, the Minister of Finance announced a scheme called Scheme Ar-Rahnu on 21st August 1993 through the collaboration of Bank Negara Malaysia, that is the Central Bank of Malaysia, Yayasan Pembangunan Ekonomi Islam Malaysia, and Bank Kerjasama Rakyat Malaysia Berhad. So after that, during the year of SAR, which is we call Scheme Ar-Rahnu, was launched at SIG branch of Bank Rakyat Malaysia. Alright, next slide about objective. Okay, this topic to identify the concept of Ar-Rahnu at Bank Rakyat. Second, to secure the repayment of loan or settlement of debt. Third, this topic to make a comparison between Ar-Rahnu and conventional pawning. And this topic also ambitious to identify the current and potential key challenge and opportunities the Islamic pawnbroking has.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is HADIRAH binti AFFIZOL. Okay, for next, I will explain about definition of Ar-Rahnu. Okay, first point, Ar-Rahnu is a method of providing short-term financings. It means that a person can get providing short-term financings by pawning her valuable assets such as gold or jewelry to bank or pawn shop as a security. Okay. Next point, pawnbroking system or Ar-Rahnu give an advantage to poor people. This is because poor people can get short-term fund by the pawning gold as a collateral. As we know, the main objective of Ar-Rahnu or pawnbroking in Islam is to help the poor people. Thirdly, Ar-Rahnu is a contract that provides valuable object as a collateral to the completion of settlement of a loan. Usually, the collateral is requiring during the commencement of the contract by the creditor to debtor. This action is to avoid default from the debtor of not paying the loan. Next, Ar-Rahnu is a relatively new micro credit instrument in Malaysia. Only gold and jewellery made of gold can be pawned. It is available to both local and foreign Muslim and non-Muslim alike. The period of loan tenures range from 1 to 6 months. Borrowers have a choice either to repay via lump sum by monthly installment. Generally, the margin of the finance is from a minimum of RM 100 up to 16 to 17% of the value of the gold. Lastly, Ar-Rahnu is free from any riba and gharar element. That means borrower only need pay the principal plus a safekeeping fee as agreed in the agreement during the maturity date. Okay, next I will present about Islamic view. Okay, firstly let we see about Islamic view in Ar-Rahnu. Okay, in Islamic perspective, Ar-Rahnu or the pawning contract is tabarruk. Tabarruk can be defined as a voluntary charitable contract that the valuable asset is given without any financial compensation. This contract is not considered as a binding until the object of the contract being delivered. Sharia-based pawnbroking or NUN consists of 4 basic concepts. Firstly, Qardul Hasan. Secondly, Ar-Rahnu. Thirdly, Al-Wadi'ah. And lastly, Al-Ujrah. Ar-Rahnu that introduced in Islamic pawnbroking in our country, Malaysia, can be said as a new micro-instrument. This is because it provided a financial product to all groups, including the lower group, and a small business or trade. This group usually have limited capital or have been excluded from the mainstream financial system. In that regard, Ar-Rahnu can prevent illegal or unlicensed financings besides offer investment opportunities. Next, we move to Sharia view. The meaning, those who devour usury will not stand as one whom the evil by his touch driven to madness. This is because they said trade is like usury, but Allah has permitted trade and forbidden usury. Surah Al-Baqarah verse 275. The Holy Al-Quran clearly shows that the Sharia aspect, especially involved with usury, was forbidden and should not be taken less in any transaction and any act of business. The importance of Sharia rules in the implementation of Islamic pawnbroking system was studied by scholars who have argued that the Islamic principles such as Wadi'ah, Qardul Hasan and Ujrah ought to be given a carefully consideration in establishing Islamic pawn. By the implementation of the principle of Wadi'ah, Qardul Hasan and Ujrah, Ar-Rahnu become clearly different from the conventional pawnshop. Besides, Ar-Rahnu system free from element of usury and gharar. It was founded that the Sharia view has a very strong relationship with the acceptance on the Islamic-based pawnshop. Lastly, Fatwa on Ar-Rahnu. The Muzakarah of the Fatwa Committee of the National Council held on April 2007. From that we found that we must begin the working capital for Islamic pawnbroking shop for Islamic bank or halal sources and free from usury, gharar and all activities that prohibit from Sharia requirement. Secondly, the pawnbroker is not allowed to get involved with conventional insurance. That means the pawnbroker should subscribe to Islamic insurance coverage. Moreover, the pawnbroker has to pay compensation for the remaining value if the collateral is is stolen, damaged, lost, or alike at the time of valuation. Lastly, to supervise the operation and activities of pawnbroking, the pawnbroker should appoint international Sharia legal advisor.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So for my topic, I will present about the Ar-Rahnu contract at the Rakyat product. So we will see through the first slide, which is the concept of Ar-Rahnu at Bank Rakyat. So for a person to apply Ar-Rahnu, they must have this four concept to permit them to apply Ar-Rahnu at Bank Rakyat, which is eligibility, pony limit, pony period, and the fourth is pound redemption. So we will see through the eligibility, which is first point is the person must be the Malaysian citizens and must be a permanent resident and age above 18 years old. And the second is pony limit. So for the minimum RM 100, but for Azhab Shem they has to minimum is RM 10,001 ringgit. Maximum accumulative amount RM 15,000 or RM 100,000 per day. So the pony period is between 6 months and plus 6 months, which is the extension period. So the maximum period until 18 months from the date. And from the pound redemption, the point is can be made once or by installment before the due date. So for the next slide is the concept of Ar-Rahnu at Bank Rakyat. So in Ar-Rahnu, they have three concepts, which are first is Qardul Hasan, the second is Wadi'ah, and the third is Al-Ujrah. So the first concept is Qardul Hasan. The meaning of Qardul Hasan or the benevolent loan is the borrower is required to pay only the amount that he has borrowed, which is in general, most of the authors define Qardul Hasan as charitable loans with no interest or a zero interest bearing loan, which is with low expectations of return of capital. So in detail, a financial institution will grant the Qardul Hasan or will grant will grant a benevolent loan to the applicant who wishes to pawn his valuable item. And then the loan issued under the concept of Qardul Hasan requires the borrower to pay the same amount borrowed to return the valuable item at the maturity of the agreed period. Next, so for the next slide is the Wadi'ah. Wadi'ah in Islam refers to a concept of keeping and saving or hold something for a certain period of time. The term Wadi'ah is derived from the word Wada'a, which means to leave, lodge, or deposit. The Islamic scholars define Wadi'ah as an empowerment to someone for keeping the owner's property, explicitly and implicitly, presentation in keeping possession of respectable private goods in specific way, or representing in keeping others' property, and it is done by the keeper as charity. So in Ar-Rahnu, they use the Wadi'ah Yadin Domana, which is safekeeping with guarantee. The lender will be responsible to replace the missing or stolen items to the owner if lender fails to keep the agreement due to own negligence. In Ar-Rahnu, Wadi'ah Yad Domana refers to an agreement for placement of assets or money to another person for safekeeping. So the next is Al-Ujrah. Al-Ujrah concept states that lender is allowed to charge a reasonable fee for the services rendered in keeping the pawned items safe and in good condition. So the meaning of Ujrah is the financial institution accept study of the valuable assets on Wadi'ah concept, whereby the bank promises to keep the valuable asset in a safe place and return when the time comes. The lending institution takes the precautionary measures such as providing security and assurance to ensure its safe returns once the customer pays his debt. So for the last slide is the advantages of Ar-Rahnu. So compare against conventional pawn shops and unsecured personal loans, Ar-Rahnu has certain advantages which are no interest or riba involved. Other than that, pawned items will be in the same condition as before, which is the meaning of it is when items are redeemed, there will be no problems such as shorter or lighter gold chains, which can sometimes happen with conventional pawnbrokers. Next point is Ar-Rahnu will give notice if the borrower is unable to repay the debt. They will be notified of the charges and about the forced sale. And the last point is Ar-Rahnu has a reasonable pawn value compared to the conventional pawn shop. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Wan Muhammad Amir bin Wan Abdul Halim, and today I would like to present the comparison between Ar-Rahnu and conventional pawning. So as we know, Ar-Rahnu is Islamic based pawnbroking business that offer interest-free loans. So based on Ar-Rahnu and conventional pawning comparison, we can see in terms of charge, there are no interest charge in Ar-Rahnu, and it also has monthly safekeeping charge compared to conventional pawning that has the higher interest and more expensive than Ar-Rahnu. So the service charge imposed under Ar-Rahnu is relatively cheaper than conventional pawnbroking system. This would mean that the cost of borrowing cash in an Islamic pawnbroking system is lower than conventional counterpart. So we can see also in terms of principal ownership in Ar-Rahnu, there must be strong evidence of ownership to pawning the item, such as a later a receipt of purchase requiring like a name or personal information, but where it belongs to someone else, a letter of consent or approval from the owner is required. So if they are using conventional pawning, the customer does not need not need to provide any letter or receipt of ownership if he use a conventional pawning system, even if the item he want to pawn is not his own. Next, we can see the comparison Ar-Rahnu and conventional pawning in terms of item. So Islamic pawn only accept gold, and while conventional pawning accept item such as value item without any mixture. In Ar-Rahnu, only pure gold is accepted, while gemstones ornamented on gold item will not be value. So for the next point, gold plated are not acceptable, and also pound gold and white gold like platinum are not acceptable. But in conventional pawning, any valuable item will be accepted, such as Rolex watch, diamond, or anything, any kind of thing that give value to the people. For the next comparison, in terms of market value, Ar-Rahnu will look at the valuation based on the current market value in terms of pawning value. So this will also assist clients who are waiting for them to pawning their item on Ar-Rahnu, while the conventional pawning sees the valuation based on lower market value. The acceptance by the community of Islamic pawn service is influenced by a simple loan process compared to former financial institutions. This Islamic mortgage, or as we know, pawning service, is also an alternative to the use of the conventional service for borrowers. For the next comparison, the advantage of Islamic pawning is the bidding notice and auctioning process compared to the conventional broking process. In Ar-Rahnu, advance notice on bidding will be given in the event of default, and if the institution has to sell the jewelry or pawn item, and the jewelry will be disposed of or sold through an order tender system reflecting the fairness and non-exploitative system of Islamic finance. Many clients do not know when their collateral will be auctioned off. Unlike conventional pawning broking, the auction notice are published in Chinese and English language paper only. Ar-Rahnu will return back to the pledger after auction the item, but the conventional pawning will be not returned back to the pledger by the company. So for the conclusion, this shows that the Islamic pawn system is highly demanded due to high gap because of the research by academicians compared with conventional pawnbroking system. By demand from the local community, Ar-Rahnu can also deliver high capacity, in particular those with low income. Islamic pawnbroking does not compete with conventional pawnbroking, but compensates for rising demand. People will prefer Islamic pawnbroking service to conventional pawnbroking service because they provide microcredit facilities that are fast, hassle-free, riba-free, and transparent. Aggressive action should be taken by the government to make Islamic pawn system grow in line with other MOHAMAD products. Consumer awareness must be enhanced, in particular Muslim in our country, to give priority to the Malaysian MOHAMAD system. Instead of using illegal money lenders like Ahlong, who charge a higher interest rate and unfair recovery practice, the government should encourage those who are in dire need of quick cash to approach Islamic pawnbrokers. Pawnbrokers also must continue to expand their efforts and roles through various online or offline platform to give more awareness about importance of the Islamic pawn system in the general public. This Islamic pawn system must be expanded to help those in need and prevent any monopolies by some conventional pawns. Thank you.